Muscle bikes are the bike equivalent of the tall, dark, handsome, yet somehow dangerous stranger that you don't want your daughter to have anything to do with. If you want a mean-looking machine, then muscle bikes are where it's at. But do they live up to their bad boy looks?
A muscle bike's basically a sports bike without a fairing, large capacity engine, big tyres, big suspension, big brakes, just without the bodywork, like a retro style bike from, say, the early 80s.
Very good. You have your head blown off at 100 miles an hour. No, performance-wise, they're normally very, very mid-range, classed as a mid-range bike, and up the larger ones, which are up to sort of 1400cc, then obviously we've still got a top speed of round about 130, 140 miles an hour.
Muscle bikes are unfaired, so unless you've got a neck like an Aussie rugby player, then you're not going to see top speed. However, don't fear, the torquey engines have plenty of mid-range for Sunday afternoon antics, and they're also surprisingly agile. Nudge the bars and they're on their sides. Fun to ride and good to look at, a great combination. But are they a really practical beast to own?
I think so, yeah. Comfortable, ideal for sort of weekend use only if someone's got a performance bike that they're not using as much as they could do. A muscle bike is more multi-purpose, I would say, definitely.
A muscle bike's good value for money because you get cheaper insurance with them. They're a good all-round bike. You go shopping on them, go touring on them, and they've got the handling and the performance of a sports bike. They're just a generally good all-round bike.
Motorway cruising isn't a strong point on these bikes due to lack of wind protection, but on a set of twisties they're ideal. They aren't entirely suited to panniers and top boxes either, so touring isn't going to happen. The riding positions are a bit more forgiving than the sports bike, and the muscle bike makes up in looks what they lack in practicality. But will they behave on a day-to-day basis?
Owning a muscle bike, similar cost to running a sports bike. They run large tyres, so £200 for a set of tyres, £150 for a chain and sprockets. Fuel economy is again similar to a sports bike, 30-40 miles to the gallon. Insurance is slightly less because you haven't got all the road bodywork.
Normally the sector that have had performance bikes for maybe 2 or 3 years decided that they've got to the point now where they fancy a change or maybe something a little bit more sedate. Some people who feel they're in danger of losing their licence, having ridden a performance bike for a number of years and just ready really to sort of calm down but without losing that sort of power, and there's some good models available.
Most of these bikes have bulletproof, well-established engines that shouldn't give any trouble. If you're brave enough to take a bike out like this in nasty weather, be sure to hose it down after, as the engines are exposed to all that nasty salt and general road crud. Muscle bikes are a bit different. They have quite a bit of personality and the performance to back it up. So if you think you can take that dangerous stranger for a ride, have a crack at a muscle bike.